Go. Hey everyone, I'm Catherine Biroy, CEO and founder, best-selling author, and your personal growth and business coach. And I have one mission: to help you do what you love and make your dream business flourish. Therefore, I've invited experts to discuss certain topics with me. And I couldn't be more happier and grateful today to have my dear friend, Dr. Natalia Wiechowski, with me today, who will share her secrets about personal branding. At the age of 29, at the peak of her corporate career and deep unhappiness, Natalia quit her job and started from scratch. During a 9-month sabbatical, she changed the way she thinks, speaks, and acts. She committed to design her purposeful dream and founded Think Natalia. Her obsession is building likable, thought leadership personal brands on LinkedIn, helping coaches and consultants to turn into best versions of themselves and make an impact in money, of course. Her aim is a tribe of 1 million doers who will change the status quo. Dr. Natalia speaks globally. She is German and lives in Dubai. She started as a social scientist, turned into the doctor of psychology.
Philosophy.
Oh, I'm sorry, philosophy.
No worries.
LinkedIn marketing unicorn, Forbes coaching council member, LinkedIn learning author. You use complicated words in this. And the Middle East leading edutainer. Welcome, Natalia. How are you today?
Thank you so much for the opportunity of speaking with you and sharing my insights and my crazy story with your community, Catherine. I'm very well. Thanks so much. What about you?
Yeah, perfect. Pleasure is all mine. So we will dive in right away. Let's say there are people who want to step out of the corporate like you did, right? And the first thing, people actually don't know what a sabbatical is, To anyone I thought they know, they just don't know. Can you elaborate a little bit about that and tell us what you actually did on sabbatical?
Sure. I realized that I wasn't doing my homework for over 29 years. I used to be an ex-people pleaser and everybody's darling, and I always lived and acted and worked in a way that I gave my best to make other people happy and to fulfill their expectations of who I am and how I should be and should work. So I realized at the age of 29 that this doesn't make me happy, this doesn't make me feel successful, but I had no answer on the question, what does make me happy? What does make me successful? Why am I on this planet? Am I crazy to think questions like that? And I was, back then, I think slowly but surely waking up. I think my soul or my spirit, or however you want to call it, was like screaming louder and louder, saying, "Hey, I'm here, listen." And so I decided to quit my job, and I decided to take a longer break of 9 months or longer, let's see, to really understand my purpose, or to understand why I'm suffering or why I'm not feeling successful, and to figure out if I'm crazy and maybe go into a mental hospital or get drugged, or if all that is part of turning 30, or if that's part of human nature. So I literally gave my best to read as much as I can. I read up to 5 books per week about different things, about human behavior, about social media, the success biographies of international experts and gurus and whatever. I started reading more about Buddhism. I started learning or giving my best to understand what meditation is, changed the way how I speak. So I really, like, to put it in one sentence, I hit the reset button and said, what if everything that I've ever learned was wrong or an illusion? Let's start from the very beginning, although it feels like falling down the rabbit hole in Alice in Wonderland.
I love this story. I actually adore it because when I met you, I realized I'm not the only one.
You're not. There's so many people out there suffering, and we all think we're crazy. And I think that's the most natural thing to go through when your soul is awakening. What do you think?
Absolutely. I had the same, just I didn't know that was a sabbatical. I was pregnant and I had a lot of time at home. So basically, very much the same story. And something like, I didn't even want to ask you this, but when I was going through your bio, it just came that, okay, let's explain to people what the sabbatical is, because really no one to who I talked about, they just, don't know the term, and I wanted to get that clear. So let's say someone is stepping out from the corporate. We are going back to the question, and they want to start their own business, but there are a lot of real reasons why that can be a difficult, family or finances or something like that. And I really believe when I was starting my business, I had no idea that's called personal branding. Okay, I was mentored by Brian McGill, and I was doing what Brian told me to do. When I met you, I realized, oh, that was personal branding. Okay, so what are your tips, like from your expertise? What are the first steps that people can do when they wish to get out of the corporate hole and start their own business?
I think what you said is the most important factor in the beginning, to understand your circumstances. Are you on your own, or are you responsible for a family? If you are just on your own, this decision will be so much easier, especially when you're not the only bread earner in the family, right? So this is an important question. Is it just me, or do I have responsibilities, people who need that money, that monthly income, who depend on me for survival purposes? So that's an important question to reflect on. Another thing that a lot of people unfortunately are ignorant about, and I used to be a little bit like that as well, is we need to look at the way how we interact with money, how we treat money, what we do with money. You won't believe how many people I know who say, oh, I want to leave corporate, I want my own. I'm like, oh, fantastic. So, but wait, how many credit cards do you have? And are you in debt? And they have credit card bills that they will need to pay off over the next 6, 9, maybe even 12 months, because they were so unhappy in their job. They started comfort consuming, as I call it. So not comfort eating, but also comfort consuming. So whenever they felt unhappy or unsatisfied, they bought something to get this quick fix. And I'm not saying that to judge anybody, but to say once again, it's a normal thing, but we need to stop consuming like crazy people, especially stop buying stuff that you don't need to impress people that you don't like with money that you don't have. So stop consuming, really have a look at your finances, start paying off these credit cards. If you can, also get rid of these credit cards. And then, very important, also don't quit your job immediately when you haven't have saved a buffer of money. Be a challenge. I'm not saying it's impossible, but just knowing that you could live the next 6 months or 9 months without making any cash, that might allow you to focus even more on your business or more on your personal brand. So also save money. And the last step, which is also very important, is start practicing or sharpening that skill or the skill set that you will need for your second career and your next job. If you can already do that when you're already or still in your corporate job, that will be fantastic, because it will take time. But I think these are the first steps.
Awesome, because I think yesterday I saw Dan Locke saying, I didn't say you quit your job, I said hustle afterwards. Okay, so starts with what you have, actually, and that's what I was doing until I reached the point that maybe I can decide now. I was one of those. And because of you, I didn't bought new Nikes. You remember that story?
Yeah, exactly. Like, my husband likes you, I hate you. Why did you?
Something like that. Okay. So, what would you say is the greatest power of the personal branding?
I think living a fulfilled, purposeful life. This is in the end what personal branding is about, if you do it in a sustainable and purposeful way. Because a lot of people I know, they believe that personal branding is selling yourself, or it has something to do with bragging or showing off or telling the world like, look at me, I'm so famous, I'm so important, hashtag on a boat, hashtag love my life, hashtag no filter, hashtag oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. This is not personal branding is all about. That's what a few crazy people who think they're influencers do, but they aren't real influencers because they don't make money with it, but we're getting sidetracked here. So personal branding in the end is all about understanding what your gift or your talent or your skill set, or however you want to call that, is, and then asking, what do I need to do in order to take that and serve it as great as I can, as much as I can, as intensive, as efficient, to a target audience that is out there. And I believe that every job on this planet is about serving others and helping others. So personal branding in the end is all about the question, how can I help others? How can I make a positive impact on my community, on the society, or maybe even on the global scale, on the world?
Yeah, I see you are up to the world. So. Okay, I've noticed that companies might be a little bit afraid of personal branding when it comes to personal branding of their employees. And recently I had an honor to be recruited by Goldman Sachs. You're familiar with the story, but maybe you're not familiar with the fact that as a millennial, I searched everything about the company first, of course. And what I discovered was surprising for me, because actually I saw the employees, the recruiters send me the link, the YouTube link of an employee talking about company. Okay.
Smart.
And then I went on YouTube, and then I saw they have, for every department, they have someone speaking for themselves about the company, you know, like personal branding. And I even discovered that David Solomon, who is the CEO, has a show called Catch Up with David, and he interviews leaders of the Goldman Sachs. So I recognized that when you did interview a few months ago, and I wanted to ask you to elaborate a little bit about this.
Sure. I think that a lot of companies are afraid of using the personal brands of their employees because it means that they have to invest in their staff. You know, they need to train them on topics like social media or content creation, maybe a little bit PR, maybe a little bit diplomacy or mindfulness. And that means that these people will then be more skilled, which means that they will be more demanded on the job market. And this is then where the standard scarcity thinking of the majority of companies kicks in. I'm not going to invest in my staff because I do that and then they're gone. Well, when you come from such a place of scarcity, I believe a mindset shift is really required. And a sentence that I really resonate with comes from Richard Branson, who believes that you need to train your staff well enough so that they can leave. And here comes the tricky part. You need to treat them well enough that they want to stay. And the majority of companies actually don't know what to do because they don't listen. They don't know what their employees want. They don't know what to do in order to make them stay. And PS, guess what? It's not more beanbags. It's not free coffee. It is not a higher salary. Very often it has something to do with contributing to a higher purpose. Very often it has something to do, I want to work 2 times from home because I have 2 kids, or I have a parent that I need to look after. So because of that, you know, this is why a lot of companies don't invest in their staff. But I think the example that you brought is brilliant, because I believe that the new way of generating talent and a new way of brand building, the new way of getting clients, is about building trust with an audience that is highly confused because of how the world looks like today. I think because of 10,000 opinions on social media and because of the stuff that we see on the news, I think that we lost connection, we lost trust. We feel ignored, we feel hurt, we are confused. So this is why we lack authenticity, and we crave authenticity, we crave character, we crave real human beings, and we couldn't care less about another faceless, greedy corporate company out there. So if you're smart and you understand human behavior and you really care about your employees, but also about your company, take one and one and put it together. You need to tell the stories of your employees. You need to turn the faces of your company into your brands. That is the latest way, the modern way, and the only way how companies will survive in the long term. That's at least my theory.
That's brilliant, because what I answered to the recruiter at the first part was, yeah, I think the same like Alex said in the video. Okay, so I didn't listen to what the recruiter said. I listened to what the girl said in the video, and that's kind of, you know, people will say Goldman Sachs is a corporation. They are huge, they are powerful, but that applies to every size of business, because people work with people who they appreciate, who they trust, and who they care about. And actually, what Brian McGill said is that your team and your community are the greatest value in existence, and it's the root of your business. And I think that's the point of all this story. Okay, now after this serious discussion, I have I have something special for you.
Oh gosh.
Make it a little bit fun. I am
Bring it on.
absolutely impressed with your mind. Guys, I met Natalia in person when I was in Madrid, and she blew me away with the way she thinks and solved my IQ problems. And she is brilliant and extremely funny and extremely intelligent, and I don't want to go into discussion with that. So I'm going to ask you a quick questions, okay? And you have like sentence to answer to me, like 10 seconds, okay? And you will hear the girl, okay? So I'm not going to interrupt you, but let's see your expertise now live, okay? Very shortly.
Okay.
Why LinkedIn?
Because at the moment, the organic growth is like on Facebook in 2012.
You won one.
Like that. It's like,
okay, so why video content?
because people connect deeper with you when they see you, when they hear you, and everything around it.
You're again. Okay, so why podcast?
Because podcast is one of the best ways how to build a connection to a new audience.
Even before time. Okay, so what are the best ways to monetize our online business?
Keynote speaking, online courses, group coaching.
I told you she's brilliant.
Oh, God. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being my guest. I hope you enjoyed. And guys, if you want to reach Natalia, she will now tell you how, and she will say a little bit about a free gift she will deliver to you. I will post it somewhere in the comments below. And what we can expect from your magic until the end of the year.
Sure. So a lot of people, when they approach me for the first time, they say, hey, I like what you do, but isn't personal branding. So I decided to create an interactive and edutaining guide that sums up the core information that you need to know about personal branding in a way how I believe in it, see it, define it, right? So the link that you're going to post guides you through it's a mix between information and a guide. So have a look at it.
I tried.
I like it. It's hilarious. I was laughing so hard. One of my marketers created it for me, and I was like, this is awesome. So take some time aside, have a look at it, and I'm sure it will answer your first questions around personal branding. And until the end of the year, I will have a few speeches in Germany, in Austria, in Poland, in the US, very likely also in Singapore. So I'm preparing for these kind of speeches. And I decided to write my first book. So I guess I'll publish it by the end of the year, and it will be in German and focus on personal branding, of course.
Of course. Brilliant. Congratulations. Thank you so much for being my guest. Bye.
Bye.